Hi, in this video I'm gonna share my birth story of my fourth baby. She was born uh, now more than a month ago, and first two of my children were born at the hospital. My third one was unassisted home birth, and now we had home birth but with a midwife. So she was born on Friday. During the day I already had some contractions, but I didn't think much of it. Around 5 o'clock, I noticed that the contractions were about 10 minutes apart. I told my husband that I believe I'm in labor. We decided not to call the midwife yet because I wanted to be by myself for as long as possible. And at the time, I was baking cookies with my kids. And my strategy was to try to ignore that I'm in labor for as long as possible, which was very doable. We still had all the evening routine coming up. We had to eat dinner. I had to put our youngest one to bed, which he's soon gonna turn 2. So another thing was that the contractions were really short. I knew that there are real contractions, like there was this kind of intensity about them that made me realize that they are real contractions, but also they were very manageable, which was something that I have been praying about, which is funny that sometimes we pray about things and then when they actually happen, we're in awe that it happened. Because I have prayed about short labor and delivery, I prayed for a painless birth, and I did pray that I would not tear, which also happened, and I'll mention more probably as the story goes on. Okay, so I was contacting a midwife around probably 6 o'clock or maybe a little bit later that I'm in labor, but I told her not to come yet because, as I said, I wanted her to arrive practically just for the birth. And I did get around 7 o'clock maybe. I went in the bathtub. I realized I don't like it there. I did not feel relaxed, so I got out. Then by that time I have contacted midwife to come because those contractions were getting closer together. And I'm fasting forward, around 9 o'clock, I got in a bed. I feel like where the labor kind of in my memory really started, because this is where I started to fully focus on labor. And around after 9, the midwife arrived. So she came and she checked me, and I was 8 centimeters dilated. I was so happy. I was thanking Jesus because I was praying, obviously, that I would dilate fast, but those contractions were so short and so doable. I was just kind of not believing that they would actually do the work. And I was very happy, and I was just really seeing how God is answering my prayers, because I was kind of expecting those contractions at some point to get really stronger and longer, but they just never happened. It just never happened. So some time went by, and the midwife checked me again, and I was 10 centimeters dilated, but my water has not broken yet. So she's telling me, so you can push. And I was like, I don't feel the urge to push. And she's explaining me because the water has not broken. And I was like, okay, then should we break it? And she was like, if you want to. So I got in a different position. I was back then I was in the bed, but I felt like it's just not the position that I'm comfortable in. So I got on the floor next to the bed, which was a very good decision, because when the water was broken, there was so much water that came out. And so yeah, I had in the next contraction, she broke my water. There was a lot of water coming out, and after that, I already started to have urge to push. So I wanted this feeling, because it was like a guidance for me. I wanted that there's something that my body tells me that with that kind of I can cooperate. So next contraction came, I had the urge to push and I started to push. But this contraction was so short that obviously while I was already pushing, I felt the head coming out, but and then the contraction ended. So I was asking midwife, like, should I keep pushing because I don't feel this contraction anymore? And she said, no, you totally can push. So I kept pushing and the head came out and I kept going and the body came out. It was an overall very smooth delivery, and it was something that I have also prayed about, and God did answer that prayer. After that, I got in bed with my baby. I was just enjoying the moment, this first moment when you hold your baby. I love that moment. And we just waited for placenta to be born, which was also very successful. Then we waited for an hour to separate baby from placenta. And yeah, she was born healthy. I was healthy. My recovery ended up also being really fast and easy, which also was something that I prayed about. And now that I'm talking about it, I'm just thinking how we really, if we don't pray, we don't get, what we want maybe, but we, don't pray about it. So overall, this birth really was an answered prayer from God. I do want to mention that it was not like the pushing out part. I say it as if like I didn't feel anything. I totally did. The pushing out part was the easiest from all my 4 children, yet that moment was painful. And also contractions were something between very strong pressure and painful. Like, I would not call them terrible. I really have had worse pain than that during labor. So this was by far the easiest, I want to say. Well, the third one also was kind of supernatural, I would say, because God just answered so many prayers in my third birth. And so I guess my third one and fourth one were both kind of right next there each other. And I do want to kind of say that if I had to define this birth, I would say that it was done by grace of God, because I did pray about the birth. I did declare things. I did read a certain faith rising material, but sometimes we believe in something, that we start to believe in something, and then we kind of feel like we have to work our faith up, and then it becomes more about us believing in our faith than us believing in God. So it's really not by works. Like during this birth, I was just reminded by God of His grace. I was thinking about His grace, that really there's, I could not pray long enough, I could not declare long enough and read enough material to kind of make it happen, like to make this miracle happen. It really is God in the end of the day, and it is by His grace. And I want to say this because sometimes we feel that we really have to work for something to really get there. Like, we have to work on our faith, on our belief, and it's really kind of not that. It's more like, what do we believe about God? Like, do we believe that He's good? Do we believe, like, I learned that I have to more focus on Him than on my faith, and that naturally then kind of leads me to rely more on His grace, and then really walk with Him is much easier and much more enjoyable, and miracles happen there. So yeah, I hope you find this video helpful, and I pray that you would have great birth if this is the reason you're watching this birth story, so you would be encouraged, and that you would experience the goodness of God during your birth or just in your life. So yeah, thank you for watching, and bye.